how to get people to read this book. The boyfriend in this book, Noah Shaw hit a girl up. Hello and good merry morning. Welcome to my channel. It's your girl Paperback Girly and I'm back again with another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the books that I read in November and the books that I did not quite get to in November. I'm happy with the reads that I've had this month. Today is November 28th, so we have 2 days until Christmas. We have 2 days until December. There we go. Even though there's still a couple days left and I still have the opportunity to finish some more books, I decided that I would just film this today, talk about the books that I did get to, that I didn't get to, and share my thoughts on them with you today. I recently decorated my room for Christmas. That video will be out very shortly. I don't know if it's going to be out before this one or after this one, but there will be a YouTube short out by the time I post this video, so feel free to go check that out. Or if you want, go ahead and follow me on TikTok. I will leave it right up here. All my handles are the same on all social media platforms. If you want to find me on another platform on the internet, then you can, at PaperbackGirly. Today, like I said, we're going to be talking about the books that I did get to and didn't get to in November. And I think I'm going to start with the books that I didn't get to in November. Also, quick note, am I the only one that just found out this month that Riley Sager is a guy? I think I might be the only person that didn't know that Riley Sager was a guy. I don't know why I thought that she was a girl. He was a girl. I don't know. The first book that I did not get to this month is Truly Devious, and the reason why I did not find myself gravitating towards this book was that it's just a little bit of a chunker. It takes a second to get into what I've heard, and there were just some other books that I was a little bit more excited about than this one. I still want to pick this up. I still will give this series a chance, so it's not a lost cause, but it's just not something that I prioritized this month, unfortunately. The next book that I didn't get to was The Picture of Dorian Gray. Haley Pham just did a video and she listened to the audiobook of The Picture of Dorian Gray, and I thought that was a brilliant idea. Like, I don't know why I didn't think to pick up the audiobook. I definitely want to read this before the end of the year, so again, not another lost cause. I just didn't find myself gravitating towards it, even though it is a shorter read. The next book that I did not get to this month was Before We Were Strangers. This is by Renee Carlino. Oh, I spelled her name wrong in my November TBR. The reason why I did not pick this up this month was because in the previous 2 months I had been like going through a little bit of a mental rut, and so I felt like I was gravitating towards seemingly sorrowful books, and I don't know, I just did not gravitate towards this. I tried to pick this up. With most of these books I did a try a chapter to see what I wanted to do for my next read, and it just wasn't really captivating my attention. I think I'm just not gonna force the issue and pick it up just because I said I wanted to. Okay, I have 2 more. So the next one I did not read this month was Survive the Night by Riley Sager. Again, I did not know that he was a guy. I don't know why I like assumed he was a girl. It doesn't matter. I've been wanting to read this book for like 2 months now. I picked this up in October. This was on my October TBR. I wasn't intrigued. The writing style threw me off. See, I even tried to get a couple pages into it. The writing style kind of threw me off, and it was literally only the first 2 chapters where I'm like determining what books I want to read when I finish a book. It's just like this wasn't one of the ones that I was like, oh, yep, that's the one I want to grab. The last book that I did not get to this month was Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and I'm kind of upset that I didn't get to this one this month. I'm probably gonna see about pushing this into my December TBR / end of year TBR. I did film an end of year TBR video which will be coming out on the 1st of December. That one will already be posted by the time you watch this video. I did not include this book in that video, but I should have. I think whenever I build my book cart and I set up my TBRs and everything, I will put this on my end of year TBR. This book was also on the Goodreads choice for, I think, romance. And a friend of mine who I talk about books with rated this a 5 out of 5 stars. So I want to pick it up. I don't know why I didn't, but I think it's also just because it's a little bit of a bigger book. I had some other books on my TBR that I was really pining to read. This one just didn't make the cut this month. So those are all the books that I did not get to this month, and now we'll talk about the books that I did get to this month. Oh wait, I already showed you them. Okay, wait. And now we'll talk about the books that I did get to this month. So first I'll talk about the books that I read on Kindle. This is my Kindle Paperwhite. I just finished Twisted Games on here, so that is why it's up here. Also, look at this cute little like pop socket. I don't know if you can see, but it's like a little snowman and he has like snow falling around him. It's super cute. On my Kindle, I bought the physical copies of the books that I read. So the 2 books that I read on Kindle were Twisted Love and Twisted Games because they are on Kindle Unlimited for free. I did not enjoy these books. I didn't hate them, but I did not enjoy them. I didn't feel connected to any of the characters, more so in Twisted Love than Twisted Games. Twisted Love is about Alex and, what's her name? Alex and Ava. Ava is Alex's best friend's sister. Ava one day is stranded. She asks her brother to pick her up. He ends up sending Alex, and then we get like a glimpse into their dynamic. It's like grumpy sunshine, maybe. I don't even know what to consider it. The reason why I didn't like these books, it just seemed a little bit unrealistic. I don't know if I was just like reading it too fast, or if I wasn't just like allowing myself to process everything. It wasn't terrible, and there were some points in the book that like I somewhat enjoyed, and like obviously I made it through the books. I don't know, I just found it to be a little bit cringy. I found it to be a little bit like overtly erotic in some ways. I think I rated this a 2 out of 5 stars. I genuinely just was not a fan. The spice was okay. It was a little bit too much sometimes. Maybe I'm just like not in the right mindset for these kinds of books, or I don't know what it is, but it just didn't tickle my fancy the way I thought it would, especially because it's been getting so much hype. Twisted Games is about Bridget and, what's his name? Bridget and Reese. I love the name Reese, by the way. So whenever I read Twisted Love, I found myself caring more about Bridget and Reese than I did about Alex and Ava. So I thought whenever I picked up Twisted Games, I would be a little bit more interested and intrigued in their story. Yes and no. Okay, I really liked the whole princess vibe. I really liked the like bodyguard princess dynamic. I just didn't feel connected to the love story. Like I didn't feel like they really connected on any way. And then like there's like big time gaps that happen in the book that even further make it harder for me to like grasp. There was no way for me to feel connected to these characters because everything felt so superficial, and it felt like it happened so fast. Even though this is a big book too, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that happens in the book that it's like supposed to be like plot line. It's supposed to give extra, you know, oomph to the story. It's not just about Reese and Bridget. But like sometimes I just felt like it was just hard for me to imagine. I don't know. I just did not connect to these books the way that I thought I would. I've heard that Twisted Hate and Twisted Lies are the two better in the series, so I will be continuing on to read those. I'm currently reading Twisted Hate on my Kindle Unlimited. I plan to buy all the copies of the book just to have them. Okay, so these books are not going to be in the order in which I read them, which is fine. The next book that I read was The Heart Principle. This is by Helen Huang. I think I rated this 3 out of 5 stars. This book just like wasn't what I expected. I thought it was very interesting. This is my first ever book that dealt with autism spectrum disorder, and I felt like educated also by the author, because I'm pretty sure the author has autism spectrum disorder, and she writes also about characters that have autism spectrum disorder. I was not aware of that. I was not aware of that, and that didn't deter me, but it definitely was a different reading experience for me. I felt that Anna, sometimes I just thought she was a little bit cringy, and I think that was just a testament to, and not even a testament, but I think that just had to do with my unfamiliarity with people that have these type of mental disorders. It was very interesting to try and put myself in the character's shoes. I obviously don't deal with the same struggles that she did. It was very interesting in that aspect, and I felt very, I don't want to keep saying educated, but the romance in itself was not that great to me. I've been in a long-term relationship for a while, so maybe that has to do with it, but I just like the whole online dating, Tinder thing is just not my vibe, and it felt very superficial. So basically Anna's son is a violinist. She went viral on YouTube, and so now she's having to live with the pressure of having to like top that performance forever, or like at least be somewhat close to it. And she has a long-term boyfriend who randomly one day is like, you know what, I want to kind of start seeing other people, you know, I want to make sure that you're the one for me. She's like, what are you talking about? That's crazy. And he ends up doing it anyway, and so she realizes that he's gonna do it anyway, so I'm gonna do it too. She downloads a Tinder profile, ends up finding this guy named Quan, who also is not really having like the best life himself in terms of just like intimate interactions and have like relationships and stuff like that. And so these two strike up a conversation on their Tinder thingy-majiggy, And like literally the first thing that they do is do you want to talk on the phone or do you want to text? And I'm like, I would not be calling somebody that I don't even know. They finally like set up something for the little one night stand that they want to have, and it doesn't go well. And then they're like, okay, we'll just try again later. And that one doesn't go well, and we'll just try again later. Well, that one doesn't go well. We'll just try again later. And it just like happens too many times where it's like, where is this going? Like, you guys need to just not, you need to find somebody else. And then by the end of it, like they're kind of like in love, or like they like each other really soon. It's just like, I don't know, it just didn't really connect with me. And I liked some things in this book, which is why I was able to give it a 3 out of 5 stars. It wasn't a terrible reading experience, but it wasn't my favorite. I've heard that The Bride Test is better though. Like that's the best out of the 3 books that she has in this little series that she's got going on. But this one just sounded a little bit more intriguing than that one. Maybe I'll give her another shot. I don't see why not. She's a local author to me. She lives in San Diego, so that is also really cool. I'm happy I was able to support a local author, and also I was happy that I was able to like broaden my horizons a little bit. Alrighty, the next book I read was The Midnight Club. This was a finish from October. I started this at the end of October, and there's a Netflix series out right now that I wanted to watch, and I started watching it recently. I definitely think the book is better. I think that the movie, or like the show adaptation, adds a lot of extraness that wasn't in the book. This is a shorter book. It really is only about one thing, which is the Midnight Club. This is about a group of teens who live in this hospice called the Rodham House, a place where terminally ill kids or teens go to die, which sounds really tragic and sad and depressing. Every night they meet, even though they're not allowed to. There's like a curfew at this Rodham House, and they meet in the library every night at midnight, and they tell scary stories. And so I think that that is their way of like coping with their situation, and they tell like these riveting stories that like literally move them. I liked them. I liked most of them at least. One of the characters dies, and Ilanka, who is the main character, she basically wants to figure out what really happened. Something doesn't feel right, and she wants to figure out what happens, and by the end of it we find out. Now this book was written in the 90s, so it has a twist that I think is significant to the 90s, the 80s and 90s. What year was this published? 1994. So this has a twist at the end of the book that is significant to the time period that it was written in. I feel like if I was reading this in the 90s, I would probably give this a 5 stars or a 4 star. It talks about something that is almost taboo. I don't want to say taboo, but like it's not something that people talk about. People try to avoid it. It's uncomfortable, and I appreciated it for what it was. It's actually really sad, but I did not like, I absolutely despise the way that they brought it up in the movie or in the show. It just like completely disregarded the whole significance of it and the point of the twist in itself, and it's unfortunate. Yeah, very interesting. I don't want to give it away, but it's just like a nice, easy read. Kind of a page turner because you're reading about these stories, you're listening to the stories as they're telling them as well, and you want to know more about the story and about the main story itself. So it's a good read. It took me a second to get through because I prioritized other reads before finishing it, but I'm happy that I finished this, and I'm going to be finishing the Netflix series very soon. Alrighty, so I have a couple more books left. The next book I read was The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. This was an all-time childhood favorite for me. I read this in high school and fell in love with it, and I fell in love with it once again. I rated this 5 out of 5 stars, and the reason why is because it was just able to elicit emotions that I remember feeling whenever I was in high school, and I'm a grown adult now, so if you can make me feel the same way as a grown adult and this is a YA book, you're doing something right. You're doing something right. Even though it's a YA book, it reads a little bit more mature for me. Like the characters feel a little bit more mature. I mean, I don't know why, but I just like want them to be in college or something so that I can like imagine myself. First of all, the boyfriend in this book, Noah Shaw, hit me up whenever you're 24. Okay, he's probably 24 by now because he was 17 whenever I was 16, so he's probably 25. Noah Shaw, hit a girl up. No, I'm just kidding, baby. I know you're watching. No, my boyfriend would not like that. This book is about Mara Dyer, which is a pseudonym for the main character of the story. She wakes up one day in the hospital after a tragic accident, and all of her friends have died. She doesn't know why. She finds out she was in a collapsed old building accident type thing, and she is the only one that has any recollection, if she does have any recollection, as to what happened that night. And slowly but surely throughout the book we uncover her memories, we figure out what happened that night. There's so much good things that happen in this book. This book, 5 out of 5 stars. What makes it so good, it's like a paranormal romance going on. There's like weird stuff going on. It's a little spooky. I will definitely say it's a little spooky. People die in this book, so it's like, it's a little bit scary, but it's good. It's so good. I don't think I'm doing it justice. I don't think I'll ever be able to do it justice, and the back of it doesn't do it justice. Like, I feel like you just have to go into this book and just read it. I don't know how to get people to read this book, because it's not a newer book. It's definitely an older book. This is from 2011. I mean, I literally read it in like 3 days, and it's a big old chonker. And I had another book to read. I was reading The Midnight Club and this at the same time, and I finished this before The Midnight Club because that's how good it was. 5 out of 5 stars, The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. The next one in the trilogy is The Evolution of Mara Dyer. It's sitting right here. So excited to read it. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. So I have 2 more books for you guys to show you. The next one is Better Than Fiction. This is by Alexa Martin. I rated this 4.5 stars. I think at first I rated it 5 out of 5 stars, and then I wanted to just like change it to 4, but I think I'm gonna go 5.5, a nice little medium ground, or excuse me, 4.5. This book was really good to me. I think I connected with this book a lot as well because I am a mixed girl. I am someone that hasn't seen a lot of mixed representation in books. Like, you get one ethnicity and you don't get mixed characters, and I feel like it made me connect with the main character so much. I freaking love this book. This is about Drew Young, and she inherits a bookstore from her grandma, her late grandma, and even though she's not a big fan of books, she is a big fan of her and was a big fan of her grandma, and so she really holds this bookstore dear to her heart. She wants to take care of it because it's her grandma's legacy, but she's not a book girl. She's not a bookworm. She doesn't read books. She doesn't like books. One day she comes into the store, and there's this group of old ladies who are in a book club called the Dirty Birdies, and they come in one day and they're doing their little book club, and they look at her and they go, "Hey Drew, like, have you read this month's book pick? Like, you should. The author's gonna come in, this and that." And then the author comes in, and he turns out to be a very, very handsome, very attractive young man who writes romance novels. A ton of people that she knows, they all know who this author is, but she had no idea who he was. But he's a little bit of a romantic himself, and slowly but surely they find themselves in a situation where what's his name, Jasper. I think Jasper is such a cool name. So Jasper ends up saying that he's going to be staying in their town to write his next book. And then he asks Drew if she could be his tour guide of the city, because she is very passionate. While she doesn't like books, she's very passionate about photography and travel and curating travel plans and things like that. So that's something that she does on the side. But because she had to take over her grandma's bookstore, she had to kind of set that aside. Throughout the whole book, we kind of get their relationship sort of building. It's like from strangers to friends to lovers kind of deal. And I think it's just like a beautiful slow burn. I love that it gave me such cozy vibes as well because it takes place in a bookstore. I loved it. It was very fun. It made me laugh out loud sometimes. I found myself smiling in my little coffee shop that I would go to read it, and it was really a great time. Alrighty, so the last book I have to show you guys is a book that I'm currently in the middle of, and that is The Atlas 6 by Olive Lee Blake. I am really thoroughly enjoying this book, surprisingly so. I wasn't sure what to think whenever I picked up this book. I kept wanting to compare it to Ninth House, that same kind of vibe, I guess. And this has its own vibe in general. I remember I watched a show called The Magicians. This reminds me a lot of The Magicians. This book has everything that I think I could ever ask for in a book. I think there is a little bit of confusion for me in terms of like the magic side of everything, but I love the idea of a group of like almost savants, a group of like people who are really good at what they do, the best of their kind, and that get together and try to like figure out things. Something just happened in the book though that I'm like not really sure where it's gonna take the rest of the story, because it's very, very interesting that something like that was figured out so early. But I'm really thoroughly enjoying this book. I think I'm like leaning towards 4 stars right now, maybe even 5. It just depends on how it ends, you know? This is about a group of people, 6 people. I don't really know how old they are, honestly. I don't think they ever really talk about it. So Libby and Nico are like physicists, and they're both, they don't realize it. Well, I think they do, but they don't realize it, but they're like a pair. Like they're like yin and yang. You can't have a full package without one or the other. So Libby and Nico are physicists, And then Raina is a naturalist. Raina is someone that can like connect and talk with plants. She can manipulate plants, make them grow, whatever. Parisa, who is a telepath. She can like read people's minds, and she's also a seductress. I don't think it's like her power, but like she's also very beautiful, and like her looks are part of her power. There's Callum, who is a empath. He can basically like make you think something or make you do something. Okay, yeah, a manipulative illusionist. That's the word I was looking for, manipulative. And then there's Tristan, who doesn't really have any like physical power in terms of like spidey power or whatever, like how some of the other people do, but he is able to see through illusions, and he's able to see through like any sort of magic, so he can see the real deal holy field of everything. And it was funny because whenever they found out about it, Libby goes and covers her cheek, and he goes, "It's just a pimple. I know, I can see it." And it was just so funny. I just thought that was like a quirky little thing. The 6 people get chosen to come to the Alexandrian Society to train to be the part of the Atlas 6. Or Atlas 5 maybe? I don't know. They're told that only 5 of them will make it through, and that one of them will be eliminated. But I have a feeling by the name of the title that we might get all 6 of them, and they might be named after Atlas. Atlas is basically like their caretaker. I thought Atlas was gonna be like the name of the group. It's not, it's actually a character in the book. But I'm really liking this book. The illustrations are super cool, and the stories is really good. I like magical realism and fantasy and like speculative fiction more than I realize. Like, it's easy for me to just read books about like real life, but whenever you start adding magic and stuff and powers, I think I get a little bit more intrigued than I give myself credit for. With that being said, I am in the middle of the Atlas 6 right now. I do have somewhere around here, I do have the traditionally published copy, and I did hear the other day that like I guess they changed some of the plot line in this book. Maybe I'll take some time today to like just maybe look through this and see if it's the same. I don't remember who I saw said that, but someone just said that these 2 are different, and it's not just the cover, it's like the actual story itself is a little bit different. But maybe I'll just stick with the self-published version. I am enjoying the book so much. I really genuinely am. Like last night, the first thing I did whenever I came home from work was read. This morning, the first thing I wanted to do whenever I woke up was read, but I didn't, I filmed. But now that I have my filming over, I can spend more time reading today, which is super fun. But those are the books. I will hold them up for you guys. Give me just one moment, please. Okay, here are the 12 books that I tried to get to you in the month of November. I got through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them, and it was a good time. It was a great time. I think that's a very realistic number to read. I never really try or feel any pressure to read more at any point. Like, I think that reading 7 books in a month is crazy, especially whenever a few months ago I wasn't even reading. That's great. I love reading so much. I feel like I love getting lost in these worlds, and it's just a great escape. My screen time has gone down significantly. Well, I would say significantly. Like, I'm definitely not doing a lot of the scrolling and game playing that I was before. Alrighty, I appreciate you so much for watching this video. I hope you found some good books to maybe try out for yourself in the new year, in December. Who knows? I hope you get some good recommendations from this video though. I can't wait. I can't wait for December. I have so many good ideas planned for December, and books I want to read, videos I want to produce, and I'm just excited to share this fun holiday time with you guys on BookTube. This will be my first Christmas on BookTube. I don't think I'll be doing Bookmas, but I will be trying to post just as much as I possibly can. There will be a couple videos coming out very soon. I have some videos that I'm working on right now, some videos that I have planned to film, so it's gonna be a lot of fun this month. I'm so excited to be back on YouTube again, and I hope that we can curate and kind of build a new BookTube community on this channel. That would be absolutely amazing. Oh, I just want to show you guys one more thing. Look how cute my little book bow is. I got this from Book Bow on their little, they had like a little sale a couple weeks ago. It's Nightmare Before Christmas, and they look really spooky and stuff, but like, I think it's perfect. I love Nightmare Before Christmas. It's one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. One of my favorite Tim Burton movies of all time. It'll always have a special place in my heart. So it's super cute and I love it. It's spooky, but it's giving Nightmare Before Christmas. Anywho guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you guys in my next one. And with that being said, have a happy Holly day.
Every nigga's every day up. Every day patches the note up. Oh God, you should mention this the kill. No white lighter, still I want my 28 up. 1990, my family had that.